Hi, my name is Savannah Langston, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on the whistleblower story, Accounting for Anguish. So in this story, they're talking about a man named Kim Amy, and his story is one to remember and serves as the harsh treatment of being a whistleblower before the days of Sarbanes-Oxley. And this story is super interesting because it talks about how he was one of the first to be fired for coming out against the company. What Kim was asked to do is he was one of the managers in an accounting department, and he was asked to expense some capitalized funds. And the problem with this is because if he was going to do this, this would lower the income level on the profit and loss statement, which looks bad to investors, but what it does is it lowers the overall amount of income reported on the tax return, and this lowers the tax liability for the company. And this is why the company was doing this. Kim thought this was not ethical, and he did not like the idea of being able to do this, so he told his manager and then went in and spoke with someone to talk about the infraction that this was to the accounting department. As he talked with his manager, they were upset with him, and the next day he was told that he was going to be fired and that he needed to make preparation to leave. So he was fired, and he just found out that his wife was having another baby. This is a problem because he was then unemployed for 14 months and lost a lot of money, and lost all of his salary and his savings and his kids' college funds. So this put his family in a lot of financial distress, and him and his wife in a bad position. And his kids they had to be poor kids for a while, and that was not how he wanted to live his life or how he wanted his family to live his life. So that was really hard for him. He eventually found a job. One of the other things that went wrong is he wasn't able to find a job because when people would call his references at WorldCom, they wouldn't answer, or they would tell them negative things about him, so they would never hire him. And he was probably one of their best employees, so that is why he wasn't able to find a job. And then eventually he found a job where they didn't require references, and he was making more. He was making a lot less than what he was making at WorldCom, but he was still able to provide for his family, which made a huge difference. In evaluating Kim on the resolution of ethical conflict in the IMA, the first one is competence. Was he professional? Yes, I think that Kim was very professional in his approach to management, and that he was able to convey himself in a professional way. He said, "I do not believe this is the right thing to do because of this." And he was not going in there trying to make a big scene and tell everybody and that kind of stuff. He made it he stated it in a very tactful way. Was it confidential? Yes, he was very confidential about things that he heard, and he was serving that purpose very well. Integrity. Yes, he was very integritous in this decision, obviously, to quit a job that is giving you a lot of income and providing for your family, and being fired for that is for making the right decision is a huge decision to make. So it's really important that he retained his integrity by doing that. Credibility. Was he able to communicate the information fairly and objectively? Yes, he was. He was telling his bosses why this was not okay and what to do to fix that. And I think that's really important. In the article, "We Don't Need Another Hero," I think the most important part about that article is this quote: "The stories have convinced me that while certain ethical challenges require direct public action, quiet leadership is the best way to do the right thing in many cases. That is because quiet leadership is practical, effective, and sustainable. Quiet leaders prefer to pick their battles and fight them carefully rather than go down in blaze of glory for a single dramatic effort." I think the most important thing is the fact that silent leaders are the ones who eventually change the world. They're the people who are quietly making the right decisions and using their integrity to make right decisions, not the ones that are calling everybody out and making a big deal about it. And I think that Kim did a really good job at that. He was not one to boast and that kind of thing about the decision he made. In conclusion, it's important to always be ethical in making decisions and about whistleblowing, and when necessary. It's really important that these people have done this, because that has led to laws and other things in place today that protect these types of people, and there's a lot of things that we can learn about from this. And this has been my presentation on accounting for anguish.